back to Miss B Biology. This is a revision video on the topic plant cell. So grab your book and grab your pen and let us begin. The lesson objectives are to 1. Label a plant cell and 2. Describe the function of the different parts of a plant cell. All living organisms are made up of cells. Organisms that are only made up of one cell are called unicellular. For example, bacteria. Other organisms with many cells are called multicellular. For example, animals, including us, human beings, and also plants. This is a drawing of a typical plant cell. But most plant cells differentiate. What do I mean by that? There are changes in their structure that allows them to carry out a particular job. This means that the cell has become specialized. Here are examples of specialized plant cells. We have the root hair cell, xylem cell, phloem cell. In this lesson, I will only be focusing on the typical structure of a plant cell. On the screen, you are now seeing a drawing of a typical plant cell seen from an electron microscope. We know it's from an electron microscope because we are seeing microscopic structure that can only be seen using an electron microscope. Structures such as the ribosome, the chloroplast, and mitochondria. All right, let us now look at the 5 parts of the cell that is common between plants and animals. The first one is cell membrane, mitochondria, nucleus, cytoplasm, and ribosome. There are now 3 extra parts that are only found in plant cells: the cell wall, vacuole, and chloroplast. Let us first talk about the cell wall. The cell wall of plants and algae is made up of cellulose that strengthens and supports the cell. The cell wall is completely permeable, meaning it does not control what enters and leaves the cell. The next structure is the cell membrane, and this is the structure that controls what enters and leaves the cell. For example, the cell membrane will allow oxygen in for aerobic respiration, but then there are other substances that will not be allowed in, and so the cell membrane is described as partially permeable. The next structure is the vacuole. The vacuole contains cell sap. Cell sap is water and dissolved salts and sugar. The cell sap helps to keep the cell rigid and support the plant. The next structure is the mitochondrion, and this is where aerobic respiration takes place. Respiration is the process by which energy is released in the cell, and energy is needed for many processes. For example, protein synthesis and also cell division. The next structure is the nucleus. The nucleus controls all the activities of the cell. The nucleus also contains the genetic material, also called DNA. The next structure is the ribosome, and this is where proteins are made. The instructions for making proteins come from the DNA that is found in the nucleus, and that is why it is said that the nucleus controls all the activities of the cell. Okay, so the ribosome is for protein synthesis. The cytoplasm, this is where many chemical reactions take place. The next structure is the chloroplast. The chloroplast contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is responsible for absorbing light energy for the plants to make their food, which is called glucose. So chloroplast is the site for photosynthesis. It is now quiz time. Let us check our knowledge on what we have learned so far. First question, which structure controls what enters and leaves the cell? The answer is B, and that is the cell membrane. Next question, the site for photosynthesis. The answer is letter H, and this is the chloroplast. Next question, where does protein synthesis take place? The answer is F, and that is the ribosome. Next question. This structure contains cell sap and keeps the cells turgid. What is that? Letter C, and that is the vacuole. Next question. This is the site for aerobic respiration. Answer is D, and that's the mitochondrion. Next question. This structure is made up of cellulose, which strengthens the cell. The answer is A, cell wall. Next question. This is the site for most chemical reactions. The answer is G, and that's the cytoplasm. Next question. This structure contains the genetic material. The answer is E, and that is the nucleus. Thank you so much for watching and all the best in your exams. Bye bye.